At Arizona State University, we're bringing world-class education from our globally acclaimed faculty to you. Ranked #1 in innovation for 10 consecutive years and #2 among public universities for employability, ASU isn't just ahead of the curve, it's creating new paths to success. Earn your degree from the nation's most innovative university. Online, that's a degree better. Explore more than 300 undergraduate, graduate, and certificate programs at asuonline.asu.edu.
Always follow the money. That's what I always say. You always follow the money. Yeah.
This is Follow the Money with Mitch Moss and Pauly Howard on VSiN.
Welcome in. Big hour lined up. Coming up in 15 minutes, we'll update you on today's Major League Baseball card, games that are in action, games about to throw the first pitch in this hour. Matt Youmans coming up in 30 minutes, his best bets for the Final Four, and maybe some other college basketball games that we have going on this week. Not going to lie, tonight's NBA card, boy. You look across the entire screen, Pauly, and you see multiple teams favored by 17 points tonight.
8 of the 9 games is a double-digit favorite.
Think about that.
We had a guest on who canceled. He said, "It's the worst card I've ever seen." I don't blame him. I'm not even mad at him. It's that bad. It's just 13.5, 16.5, 16, 17.5. Oh, ooh.
So, ways to approach it here.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe some player props, right? The Mavericks are back in action, taking on a Hawks team. You know how they like to play. Games are going to be in the 120s, maybe 130s here. You were riding Najee Marshall for a long time. You got off of it, I think maybe at the right time. Do you want to get back on it tonight?
I do. It's low enough, 12.5, yes. Should be a track meet with Atlanta. Atlanta with another disappointing loss last night, run out at home by Portland. They're on a back-to-back. Dallas trying to solidify and lock up their spot in the play-in. I like Dallas to win the game, and I like Marshall over 12.5 points. And I think he gets back on track and can go over that. I don't mind the ladder either.
You want to go 15? You want to go 20?
Yeah, Davis will play, but it's a game where I think a lot of guys can go off based on the pace and how frenetic the Hawks play. Then I'm sure Dallas will run right with them as well, and you see that reflected in the 240 total.
Yeah, I can find that right now. See how nuts you want to get tonight by looking at the props and the ladders. So you want to go with Najee Marshall on a ladder, and well, we better double check to make sure that he's actually going to be playing tonight because he's not listed at the first book that I look at. So did something happen to him? Always a tricky time of year, obviously. Got to pay attention, and this stuff could be changing by the minute. Who the hell knows? So anyway, first book I looked at, he's not even listed there. So
well, they've been doing that all year with him though too.
Yeah, true. That's you mean posting his props late?
Yes.
Yeah,
but he is up at DraftKings. He was. I'll double check it right here. He was 12.5 when I checked during the break. So let me bring it. He's not on Underdog on the injury report as well. Will you come on? He is. He's up to 15. Whoa! He's now 15.5 at DraftKings.
Oh, then you weren't the only person who liked him.
Oh my God!
Moving big. Here, I'll try to. Here, if he's listed at, he's actually the next book I looked at, MGM. He's locked. So, yeah. God bless.
Oh man!
Tonight the Knicks are playing at the Cavs. The Cavaliers, as you talked about here, double-digit favorite. Total 229.5 or thereabouts. Maybe OG Anunoby worth a look here for the Knickerbockers.
Been great.
And I say that because it's now 7-0 over 27.5 PRA, points, rebounds, and assists, and 7-0 over 20.5 points. That's at the prop analyzer at vsin.com.
Yep.
Darius Garland, 7-0 over 3.5 rebounds. So you figured tonight's game, now the total's up to 231 here at Circa.
Yeah. Right?
It's going to be Cavs love to play up and down, and you're going to be able to score on this team. And Anunoby has been on this red-hot streak here and continuing tonight against this defense. I think Evan Mobley's having a great year, but he's a little overrated defensively, and I'm not afraid of Anunoby, getting his points against him.
I'm with you on that one. I don't have any problems about that. And Bridges is going to give it a go as well, and he's been good for the Knicks also, scoring. So maybe try to keep it close this time, unlike getting embarrassed last time against Cleveland and what happened.
Is there any advantage here tonight for Miami, point spread-wise? Because, again, this is another spot where they're catching double digits at Boston. Maybe the Malinsky special here. This is where a team has been on a long road trip. They come back home for the first game. The Celtics just played on Monday night, as did the Heat, but the Celtics are on a 9-game winning streak. It started with a 103-91 win at Miami. They came back home for a couple of games, but since they rattled off 6 straight wins on the road, and they won every single game by double digits. This team is an absolute machine and a wrecking ball on the road. They're better on the road than they are at home. Miami's last 2 games, a 23-point win at Philly and a 26-point win at Washington. So playing on the East Coast, no problem getting up to Boston, waiting for the Celtics to get back home.
Yeah, those teams stink, though.
I know that. I'm just saying maybe that they've been on the East Coast already, and so there's not going to be a travel issue whatsoever.
I know, but I have to know who's playing. And Brown, Porzingis, Holiday, all questionable. We got to get that situation figured out right first off. But it's a bad spot for the Celtics, even though they've been hot. But Malinsky's special, and it's kind of telling you Miami can hang around as well. That it's only 10.5, and these guys figure to sit too probably as well.
Now this is what makes it a little bit tricky here, as we are leading into some of these games coming up in a few hours. The Spurs-Nuggets game, Denver's laying 9.5 right now, around that number, total about 231.5.
This is an all-timer.
Oh, I mean,
the whole team is questionable.
They played, for those who were not watching last night, they played in maybe the game of the year in the NBA. Joker had a 60-point triple-double. It went to double overtime. Both teams basically only played 6 guys. So are you talking about multiple dudes from Denver playing a ton of minutes, and now you turn back right around tonight and play another game at home against San Antonio? But the Spurs have been in awful form here leading into this game.
Yes.
This is a doozy.
I don't know what to do. Maybe the over and a back-to-back, and you couldn't slow down Orlando in the fourth quarter as you let go of the rope.
Here's the thing. But, again, waiting for lineups to come out and who's going to be in, who's going to be out. The Spurs defense is so bad.
Yep.
Somebody is going to be able to score for Denver. So you might be able to get a fringe guy, right, who's going to get inserted into the starting lineup tonight, and his alt numbers might be worth a look. That could happen here. But
I wouldn't mind if Porter plays and Joker and Murray sit. That'd be pretty good.
Sure.
Or if Joker sits and Murray plays and Brown's out. Something like that.
Yeah.
But we have to know who's in and who's out, and that goes in 3 hours. But open 15 down to 9.5 from the total 231. But,
could it be a game for Christian Brown tonight if he plays?
Yeah.
Because you figure that he'll get probably 30-plus minutes again. And if some of those other guys are going to be sitting, I mean, he's been good going over his numbers all year long anyway. Could be a spot for him.
Uh-huh.
Do you think your guy Westbrook plays tonight? Actually, I'll say this.
He'll probably want to play after how he cost him the game.
I will say if Russ plays tonight and some of these other guys sit for Denver, I think I'm going to be all in on Westbrook. I'm talking triple-double. I'm talking PRA over, and I'm talking maybe some ladder as well with him, maybe assists and points.
I don't mind that.
It's a fantastic matchup, but somebody's going to have to score for Denver.
Mm-hmm.
And Jazz are at the Rockets.
Look at this.
That 17-point spread.
You got Thompson with the rebounds prop with 14 and 1 over. With the rebounds, I think that was up on the prop analyzer with Houston.
And also Thompson 6-1 over 25.5 PRA.
Yeah.
For the Jazz, Filipowski's been the guy, 5-0 over 12.5 points his last 5. And Walker Kessler, 6 straight games under 8.5 points.
What's going on with the 3-pointers?
It disappeared.
He stopped shooting them?
I'll go back and double check.
And he's cut the minutes.
Since we talked about that.
Does he hit the 3 right off the bat after you talked about it?
And then that was pretty much it. So all that talk from the tough guy there.
Yeah.
I'm shooting all these threes.
Ugh.
No, has not been the case.
Well, I also would think with all these teams that are tanking, you can look at overs too, because they don't play any defense, and it's just let's push the ball anyways, right? Indiana, the total's 222. The Washington game, the total's 232. The Rockets game against Utah, 228.5. And the Spurs total's 231. We'll get us wait and see who plays with Denver, but that's, I think, the way to attack it as well. The tricky one is the late game with the Clippers because they're so good defensively, and then with the shooting background and the into it dome with the wall as well. But the Pelicans sitting everybody. McCollum and Zion have been shut down. But do the Clippers score 130? Or is it more, okay, we're laying 17.5 and
sure,
we'll just rest up, get the win, and move on?
Well, that's the thing. Kawhi's been so good, and he's 6-1, last 7 games over 32.5 PRA. this could be a spot where it's trending really, really well for a prop like him to go over at halftime, but they might be up by 25, and then he plays sparingly in the third quarter, and then he lands on 31. You're like, well, that sucks. How did I lose that one? It's because the Pelicans are so bad, and he's not going to get all that run. So Kessler did not take a three in his last game. The game before that, 1 of 1. So it's not worth even. I don't even think they're posting him anymore.
All right, I can't give you the Marshall because it's all over the place now and how it's moved. So I'll
OG.
go.
You want to go OG?
Okay. I don't mind Mavs money line to take care of the Hawks at home, and OG over as well. Best Bets brought to you by G-Bank, official bank of Visa, and up in the ante with its $750 bonus for a new G-Bank Visa signature card for customers and new customers who spend $1,000 on eligible purchases within 90 days from account opening. Get a $250 bonus, and if you spend $50,000 on gaming and sports app loads within the 30 days of account opening, another $500 bonus, potentially a $750 bonus. Apply now. vsin.com/gbank. Subject to credit approval. vsin.com/gbank.
The final MVP straw poll from Tim Bontemps at ESPN is out. So the last time he did this in February, SGA got 70 first-place votes. Joker had 30. And this is very reflective of what's actually going to happen with the ballots once they're entered, and they are due 13 days from now from voters. The new poll that's out today, SGA, 7 more first-place votes, 77 overall, 23 second-place votes. Joker got the other 23 first-place votes and all 77 other second-place votes. But as you said, that podcast where he did the straw poll dropped last night. It was before Joker had a 60-point triple-double. I don't think it's going to be enough to track down SGA. Right?
Oh. And they're going to win 69, 70 games.
Yeah.
So the markets did move based on what he did, but he's now 8-9 to 1
If
to win the MVP. But it's all SGA.
Let me ask you this. If the Thunder win out, they land 70-12, Dagnall going to win Coach of the Year?
That's a tough call because of what Atkinson's done, and then Bickerstaff tripled up the Detroit. They won 14 games last year.
We'll update the MLB scoreboard coming up next and tell you about some of these numbers on tonight's games here on VSiN.
This is Follow the Money on VSiN.
Well, look at here. The Padres gave up a run in the top of the 7th.
Damn.
Dylan Cease gave it up, though, not the bullpen. So he went 6 1/3 today, 19 outs, went over his prop, 7 Ks as well, only 4 hits. Bullpen came in. Peralta did nothing after that. And then right after, bottom half, Luis Ariz with a home run. So they now lead 5-1 going to the 8th.
All right. So they've allowed 10 runs on the season. Bullpen still won in 24 innings, and plus 26 run differential with 3 shutouts.
Oh, I'm looking at their schedule right now. This weekend, a 3-game set at Wrigley.
Oh, juicy.
Okay, that's pretty good.
Something has to give. This great Cubs offense against this phenomenal Padres staff.
Then they go for 3 at the A's and then 3 against Colorado at home. Woo! Boy, if you got a ticket on Padres' most wins in March, April, it's probably a pretty big number.
Yeah. Well, a lot of teams in funks here offensively. You know, the issues with Boston more than Devers. Cleveland can't score. 161 with runners in scoring position. We know about Atlanta. That's well documented. You know, the Mets are scuffling as well, hitting 179. They're losing.
They only have 1 run right now in the 6th.
Yeah. I mean, this stuff is real here, where these teams can go in a funk for a couple, 2-3 weeks and get off to slow starts.
Giants are leading the Astros right now, bottom of the 7th, 5-3. So Houston got 2 back. I'm unfamiliar with the starting pitcher today for the Giants. Landon Roop. He went 4 innings, eventually walked 4, gave up 3, but he struck out 8. On the flip side, boy, Framber Valdez, who was great on opening day, not great today. Allowed 2 home runs, lasted 5 innings, 5 runs, all earned, 4 walks from him. Did strike out 9, but yikes. Not good for Houston in that spot, nor has it been a great start to the season for them. And right now in the top of the 9th, the Tigers are trying to mount a comeback. This game completely died.
Wow, that was fast. It's already the 9th inning?
Yeah, it is.
Ooh.
So that was 3-2 Mariners after 5, nothing since. However, Detroit with runners on first and second and one out as Munoz is in for the Mariners trying to close this out. And I'll get you a live number here on this game as well.
And it's a 2-1 count.
The Tigers are plus 390 to come back and win the game right now. Boy, if they get one across right now, that's going to plus 390.
This is a huge pitch here.
I like Munoz a lot, but he has not exactly lived up to expectations. And there's going to be a ground out, no problem. All right, so 2 outs. So what do we have here?
No, foul ball.
Oh, is it foul ball they're saying?
Foul ball. 2-2.
Okay. What off his shin or
Off
something?
his leg, yeah.
Oh, there it is. Okay, yeah. All right.
So I twisted your arm and I got you into the Yankee game over?
Yeah, I'll bet that.
There you go. Yankees, Diamondbacks, 8. Yankees finally lost. Bullpen blew it again, but the home runs, though. I mean, they touched up Burns, 18 home runs in 4 games. That's a record. And Gallen against Rodon, Yankees $1.40. And Gallen has been rough, bad away from home for a couple of years now. So I'm going to ride the torpedo bats and think the Yankees get it done, and also goes over 8, as I don't trust either pitcher here. A lot of times we like to make the case for a guy to do something offensively, good numbers, but Chisholm, horrible numbers. He's 0 of 12 with 5 strikeouts against Gallen going back. So I think we can go over 8 tonight and see if the bowling pin nuts, this stuff continues here with the Yankees. This is great, taking on the Diamondbacks tonight coming up.
Anything here with Yankees team total over 4.5? It's plus 120 in that neighborhood?
Yeah. Now, I like what Stanton did. Immediately shut the guys down about, don't tell me the torpedo bats are responsible for my injury and all that stuff. And that he might be done, by the way.
I know.
He might have to have surgery on both elbows and miss the whole season.
Oh, that's what people were expecting.
Yeah, but he said, no, there's no story here. I used the torpedo bat. It was successful. I just got the issues in my elbows, so quit fishing. But I think I would go over Yankees team total as well, what they're doing. And it's so many guys hitting home runs. That's the other thing. And then can judge so many guys also with these crazy starts individually. What Suarez is doing, what Judge is doing, what Tucker's doing, what kid from the A's is doing.
Suarez has 5 hits,
He had
5 hits on the year.
All home runs.
Yeah, all home runs, yeah.
Yeah, right.
That's it.
Right. So he might go deep, too.
We are actually seeing some movement on that total, by the way, in the Yankees game. It's down to 7.5. What do you make of that?
Even if there's weather, cold, and wind, I think they're going to, between the short porch and the dimensions, with the torpedo bats, they'll still hit it out of the ballpark and find a way to touch up Gallen as well. Yep.
Yeah, I don't. Gallen not great his first start. Has never been the same guy on the road with Arizona than he has been at home. And the Diamondbacks have been pretty damn good against lefties as well. So,
what's the highest you saw the Phillies get to? Wheeler at home against Freeland and the Rockies. They've won 11-12 against Colorado at home. Wheeler 3-0 with a 1.93 going back against the Rockies.
Well, right now it looks like they're touching 380 at some spots, maybe.
Wow.
Is that right? I'm trying to click over on the screen here as well.
It was 330 at DraftKings, but if there's 380s out there, I believe it.
Jesus.
Because they took it was 240 up to 320 the other night.
I was really hoping that
move on that day game.
That's right. I was really hoping that we would get Wheeler at home this weekend against the Dodgers. Because I want to see that price. You make the Dodgers plus money. What's going to happen?
Yes.
The first time that they're a dog this year, right? People are going to be, well, they bet them anyway. People have been betting, they take money every single game here. And why wouldn't they to begin the year? I tell you what, that was a pretty scary sign last night, Dustin May, to get off to that kind of a start.
I know. And this actually looks cheap tonight at 240. It does.
I know.
Now it's come down.
I know.
Braves, yeah. You can lay $1.22 on the run line with Snell and the Dodgers.
Yeah.
I mean, what are the Braves going to do from an offensive standpoint? Are the Braves going to score 2 runs? 1 for 34 with runners in scoring position, and as a team hitting 137. And they can't muster anything offensively. You take out that first game against San Diego when they scored 4. There's nothing to speak of offensively. They're being held in check, and how they were shut out, and they only managed 1 in the first 2 games here. Yeah. Got the 1 late, so you go 3-1, 6-1, 5-0, 1-0. That's the Braves' offense going back.
I can't get over the fact that the Atlanta Braves are hitting 137 as a team, and never in the history of the organization have they had a 6-game stretch where they've been worse than this. You have to go back to the 1942 Boston Braves.
That's hard to believe.
They have this low of a batting
Those
average.
teams before they got the Justice and all those guys, those teams were terrible.
Oh, they were awful.
Remember Skip Carey, TBS. I mean, they were awful.
And
those games, Rick Camp with the pitching, Bob Horner, those teams were terrible.
Yeah, and so you'd get home from like school, and remember, like Braves games were usually on. Every Cubs game was on WGN.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, okay, I'll watch this Braves game. I'm like, hold on a second here. They stink again this year. Why is this team on TV every single day?
Yeah. You just tune in and watch Dale Murphy. That was it.
That was pretty much, yeah.
But it was,
I like Bob Horner. He's the guy who hit 4 home runs in a game.
Yeah, he did. Yeah.
And if you missed that, Ivan Herrera today for the Cardinals, a catcher, 3 home runs. Second guy already this year. Oh, and there's also a note on O'Neal Cruz, too. Let me get this for you, because O'Neal Cruz today went bonkers yet again. Here are the numbers with him. So players with 2+ home runs and 6+ stolen bases in a team's first 7 games, Ricky Henderson, Eric Davis, Joe Morgan, and now O'Neal Cruz. And he had himself a game again today. And I think he was plus 290 to steal a base. And Skeens got the win. Skeens went 7, but he only struck out 6. I say only. Yeah, O'Neal Cruz, 2 for 4, a 2-run shot, and a stolen base in that game.
Do you recall these splits between teams that Pittsburgh, San Diego, and Boston are running, especially the first 2? A's, Astros, Guardians, nothing. Phillies, Yankees. I mean, you got like one team that has 19 stolen bases, and at the bottom you got teams with 1 and 0.
Quick answer is no. I mean, to see like the differences here at the very top to the bottom, and let me double check that, because entering today the Pirates had 17 stolen bases. Their game's already over with, like we said. Yeah, they had 2 more, so chalk it up. They have 19 now on the season. Clearly, this guy, I mean, if he keeps doing this, the stolen base number is going to go down to like Ellie De La Cruz numbers here. Like plus 125 territory per game.
Yeah, good find.
But all those teams that you mentioned as well, yeah. Astros, A's, Guardians, 0. Phillies and Yankees combined, they have 1 each.
That's wild. All right, check out the betting splits. Everyone loves it. Little as $9.99. Join now, vsin.com/subscribe. DraftKings and Circa. You got the pro bettors at Circa and a broader market perspective at DraftKings. Check it out. Join the team, vsin.com/subscribe for the betting splits. Get it now. It's one of the many things we offer, as well as the prop analyzer and every pick, every host, every guest in the morning email from Bill 80. Betting splits exclusive, $9.99, vsin.com/subscribe.
How about next week's going to be Heavy Masters Week?
Yeah, Youmans got a pick, I think, too, coming up. Made a couple bets, so I am ready.
Yeah. I always love that transition, right? Opening day, Final Four, title game, boom, right into the Masters. And Matt Youmans will join the program coming up next. Yeah, a bet or two here on the Masters. Also, how he is betting the Final Four games as well. Next on Follow the Money, it's VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
This is Follow the Money on VSiN.
Some best bets here from VSiN host Matt Youmans. Usually follows us here on VSiN Primetime for 4 solid hours, and he is on the Progressive Guest line. Matt, good afternoon. Thanks for the time today. How are you?
Hey, doing great. Just about to jump on the monorail at the Westgate and head over to the MGM Grand and take in some college basketball crown action at the MGM Grand Garden Arena tonight. I actually think this is a great venue for college hoops. I'm pretty sure you guys have seen games over there. I think it's a perfect spot for this tournament, even though, you know, you might only have 500 fans in the stands for some of these games. It comes across great on TV, and when you're there in person, it's a great place to watch college hoops.
Totally agree.
Yep, I agree as well. So you said this was a fishy line last night, and you were on Villanova, and it was an easy winner, and now they're coming back laying 5 tomorrow against USC. Are you going to take Nova again or pass after the winner?
You know what? I think if you play Nova here, probably got to play it on some sort of money line parlay sort of deal. I don't like laying 5, so this is an inflated number tomorrow. USC is going to compete. Eric Musselman is a competitor, and he got his team to show up last night. Big Randy McKay's group was big on USC -8 last night and came through easily, 89-60 USC over Tulane. And Rashawn Agee had 27 points. Desmond Claude is a stud for USC, and this team's played a lot better late in the season. USC probably should have beat Purdue in the Big Ten tournament. And then Purdue goes on and has a great shot to beat Houston in the NCAA tournament a week later. So I think USC is playing pretty well right now and won by 29 last night. So Villanova was laying 3.5 to a Colorado team that I described as crap. Colorado 3-17 in the Big 12, shot 32% from three, and its leading scorer, senior guard, was out. Julian Hammond was out of that game last night. How was Villanova laying 3.5 to Colorado? Now laying 5 to a better USC team. I think you're not getting a bargain with that number tomorrow night. But that's the best three teams left in this tournament. And I like this tournament. I really, of course, when you're winning bets on it, you like any tournament. But Villanova, USC, and Boise State are the three best teams left in this tournament right now. And Villanova's got Eric Dixon, the leading scorer in the Big East. He scored 22 last night. Wooga Poplar had 24. Villanova won that game by 21. No sweat. I think that's going to be a hell of a game tomorrow night. 5 is a little bit too high for me to lay it. So I think if you like Villanova, you probably have the money line parlay that one.
Okay, the game you're going to, you mentioned Boise and Butler. Boise 8.5, total of 153. Butler won an entertaining game to start the tournament against Utah.
Yeah, no doubt. And Pierre Brooks, a 6'6", 240 transfer from Michigan State, he's a horse. He drove down the middle of the lane for the winning shot against Utah. And I like this Butler team, at least offensively. Here's how I played this. I talked to Wes the Wizard Reynolds this afternoon. And Wes is on board with a small play on Butler. And so am I. So I got a half unit on Butler plus 8.5 and a half unit over 153.5. Butler is really bad on the defensive end of the floor. And we've seen Boise capability on the offensive end. Boise put up 89 points against George Washington, and that was after scoring 2 points in the first 4 minutes of the game. So the offensive efficiency after the first 4 minutes was outstanding. George Washington did turn the ball over 22 times in that game. But this Butler team can score, too. Pierre Brooks, Finley Bizjack, he'd shoot 41% from three. Those guys combined for 38 points against Utah in the first game. And then you have Patrick McCaffrey, who is, I think, a sixth-year senior. And McCaffrey shoots, I think, 41% from three. Yeah, and Brooks and Bizjack are big-time scorers, too. So I think Butler can hang with them, or at least help push this game over the total. So half unit Butler plus 8.5 and a half over 153.5. And there might be a couple nines out there, but I think this number on Boise's got a little bit too inflated because Boise blew out that weak George Washington team a couple days ago.
Okay. I remember we were still doing mornings when you gave this out. Duke to win the title at 12-1. How are you going to hedge here? And you also have a future on Florida.
Yeah, Duke, I thought on paper was the most talented team in college basketball. And you never know until you see those players live if they're going to be the real deal. And Duke, obviously, all those guys turned out to be the real deal. So how am I going to play this? I'm going to play Houston plus 5. I know DraftKings had a 5.5 out there, and I think that 5.5 might show up again. So I'm just going to wait to see if the 5.5 shows up. But, hey, look, Houston has, one loss in regulation all season?
Yeah.
17-game win streak. And the last loss was to Texas Tech by 1 point in overtime. And it's also an extremely well-coached Houston team. That last play, that inbounds play that Kelvin Sampson drew up against Purdue was pure genius. I mean, that just comes from watching film over and over and over and practicing stuff like that continuously. If you watch or read anything about Houston's practices, you got to have a lot of respect for Kelvin Sampson, the way he runs his program. He has experienced guards, experience all over the roster, a team that knows how to win. And if you look at pure power ratings, I don't care if you look at Ken Palm or Bart Torvik or whatever you're looking at, the power rating says Duke about 2.5 in this game, right? So you're getting 5 with Houston. I've got to take the 5 with the Cougars in that one.
All right. By the way, that's one of the most often asked questions that we get on this show in this time slot or in the mornings as well. Hey, guys, I got a future on this team. I got a future on that team. What should we do?
Right.
So, and there, no doubt, there are a ton of people watching or listening right now who are like you in the same boat. They have futures on Florida and or Duke and whoever else. So that's how you're going to hedge that game. Are you going to do anything at all with the other game?
I'm not sure yet. And I'm starting to lean Auburn. Here's why I'm not sure, because I've kind of flip-flopped on this game this week. And the more you read, the more you look at it, and I was watching replays of these teams' games in the previous round. I'm not crazy about the way Florida's playing right now, man. Mm-hmm. What about you, Mitch?
No.
I felt like this team was probably playing the best. Duke and Florida will look like the best two teams in college basketball coming down the stretch. It has not looked like the same Florida team in the tournament, especially in the last couple games, and that concerns me. It kind of reminds me of the Kansas City Chiefs. I kept saying they were playing with fire, and when you keep doing that, you're going to get burned. And I feel that way about Florida. Easily could have lost a couple of games here on the way to the Final Four, and I just don't like the way Florida's playing, and maybe Auburn's being a bit disrespected here. This is the number 1 overall seed in the tournament. And by the way, Auburn, the average age on roster is about the same as the Oklahoma City Thunder, right? So it's a very experienced team. Maybe in the underdog role, Auburn even plays with a little bit more of an edge. I'm curious for your take on this too, because initially I was thinking Florida. And the more I look at it, I'm thinking, I'm actually leaning Auburn, so I'm not exactly sure how I'm going to play it. I know you have a lot more money at stake here.
Well, my thought is I could make a couple of different hedges here. If this game gets to 3, I could take Auburn plus the points. I could also bet Duke at if there's any more even money out there to win the national title. And then, by the way, like if I lose both of those, if Florida were to cover and Duke loses to Houston, then I'm looking at Florida probably in like a pick'em against Houston, and I think I'd be okay with that. Then I can just come back and hedge again.
Yeah. No, I think you got the right plan there. And like I said, I got Florida 10-1. You got hell of a lot more writing on that. But I think Auburn plus 3 would be the way I'd play that too. And I also want to live bet. I know you were live betting the last game. I want to live bet these games as well. See if I can get Houston at a better number. See if I can get Auburn. Who knows? At some point live early in the game, you might be able to get Auburn plus 5.5, plus 7.
Right.
Who knows? So you have to leave those options open as well.
Matt, about 2 minutes left here. Next week, obviously, is going to be very heavy Masters week. Who do you think our audience should be looking at right now if they don't have anybody in the old portfolio?
All right, so I took a couple long shots. Believe it or not, I hate to admit this, it's kind of embarrassing, but I recently watched a live golf tournament. And when I was watching it, I was really impressed by the way that Joaquin Niemann was playing. Niemann right now looks like one of the best players in the world, kind of just a level down from Scotty and Rory and players like that. Niemann is really coming on strong. I bet him 42-1, and he ended up winning that live tournament. In that same one, Dustin Johnson was briefly tied for the lead. And DJ actually looked like, to me, he was playing some of the better golf he's played in the last few years. I know he's fallen off the radar. If you think about this, about a few years ago, you could have got DJ in the Masters at about 25-1. Yeah. I just bet him at Circle last night at 110-1. Wow. What the hell? It's a small bet. If DJ, who plays well at Augusta, catches lightning in a bottle, you got a shot there. Right now, just trying to find some long shots that I think, might put you in a good position heading into the weekend. Justin Rose, who's got a history of playing really well at Augusta, has a runner-up finish. I grabbed Rose at 125-1 recently. And Jordan Spieth, who's trending in the right direction, obviously has incredible course history over the last 10 years or so at Augusta. I recently played him at 38-1. So that's all I've got right now. I want to look at some others. Obviously, Colin Morikawa is a guy, Ludwig Oberg, but I didn't get the good numbers on those guys, and I'm not sure what I'm going to do. Mitch, we've talked about this before. Circa is going to put up some tantalizing numbers on the futures board.
Oh, there's no question. Right? Yeah, no doubt. And we'll talk about it all next week, yeah.
Yep, you got it.
All right, thanks, man. Enjoy the games tonight. Good luck.
You bet. Thanks.
There you go. We'll recap our best bets from last night and tell you what we have added for tonight's action. In Pocket plays next here on VSiN.
To determine the winner of any given college basketball game.
Someone gives you 10,000 to 1 on anything. You take it. Take it. Take it.
I bet you $20 I can get you gambling before the end of the day. No way. I'll give you 3-1 odds. Nope. 5-1. Nope. 10-1. You're on.
All right. It was a play against Spires, and he was good. Made the mistake to Langford to start, but it held up, and it was a winner. As Evaldi with the complete game shutout, wouldn't you know it, Texas wins again today 1-0 against the Reds. On to the new stuff. Mavs money line, $1.55 at home tonight against Atlanta. Atlanta off a back-to-back and a tough loss. Couldn't slow down Portland. I think Dallas will get whatever they want offensively tonight and take out the Hawks. Again, they're hard to get a read on, but and then Jonathan Davis special, 14 straight overs. Between 14 straight games, Seattle and Vancouver, at least 6 goals, 12 of them 7. Okay, we'll go over 5.5 tonight then, Seattle and Vancouver. And more hockey stuff tomorrow with all the numbers as well, the top bottom. 2 bets tonight.
Very good. The plays last night, pretty good in the NBA. Jamal Murray, that was a push, over 3.5 rebounds. He did not play. Kamara, over 1.5 rebounds. I'm sorry, over 1.5 made threes. That was good. He got 2. Again, their center is so good. He had a crazy good game last night. They have so much young talent. Blazers a threat next year in the West? Question mark?
Well, 8, 7. Can we get the playoffs? 7, 8 seeds.
Yeah.
Wemby's back. I mean, the West is loaded. Pelicans probably make a move. Oh man.
Back on the horse last night with Giddey, over 35.5 PRA. Yeah. That was good. Kobe White, 32.5. That was good. Quentin Grimes, over 28.5 PRA. That was a winner. The Grimes, Edwards, Yabusele same-game parlay that lost. Edwards did not go over his points. And the other winner was Cubs Ace, over 8. So 5-1 with a push last night. Good overall. On to the plays that we have tonight. Going to go Yankees Diamondbacks. You can get it at over 7.5, minus 124 right now. I don't trust Galen on the road. Diamondbacks really good against lefties. Until we get to 8. Let's hope so. And here are some numbers for you from Sean Grandy. Great play-by-play voice of the Celtics. Awesome on X. So we told you about this a couple times throughout the show, and this game's tipping off here pretty soon. Boston is hosting Miami. The Celtics coming back home after an unprecedented trip, he tweets. 6 wins in 6 games, all by double digits. They're having the franchise's best road season and one of the best in the game's history. But it's the 5th time they've come home after a long trip this year. They did this in early November. 3-1 trip. Came back home. Lost to Golden State. January, 3-1 trip. Came back home. Lost to Sacramento. Late January, 3-1 road trip. Came back home. Lost to Houston. In February, 3-0 road trip. Came back home. Lost to Dallas. This team with the Malinsky special here, it's been terrible. And in those 4 home losses after coming back home, the Celtics allowed 1.226 points per possession, which would be easily the worst defense in the NBA. In their other 32 home games, they've allowed 1.108 points per possession, which would be top 5. So, took the 10.5, laid minus 109 with Miami tonight against the Celtics on the road.
No Porzingis, no Horford, no Holiday. Brown's gonna play. Take VSiN with you anywhere, anytime. Become a VSiN Pro subscriber today. Stay connected to the action wherever you go with the VSiN Watch app. Available on your phone, tablet, smart TV. The VSiN Watch app, 24/7 live access to the audio and video streams, replays of your favorite shows. Never miss a moment. Quick access to clips by sport tailored to your interest. Watch VSiN anywhere and download it, the VSiN Watch app today. Well, it's rare that you can talk to somebody who can decide a prop, but in faraway places, a prop is offered. How many times, will Ian Eagle have an Aussie reference for Tyrese Proctor of Duke? And we said, can you mention it? He goes, mention it, I'll lead with it. And yes is 2-1. So, sure, the limits are small, but that's at some places offshore that put that up. And I think...
Did he say that to you off the air or on the air?
On air. What?
The response was, will I mention it? Good day, mate. Like it was like no hesitation.
Yeah, that was, yeah.
He brought it up immediately.
That was off air. On air was I'll lead with it.
Okay, yeah.
Yes, it's. I think Bet Online has that. Well, Ian Eagle have an Aussie reference for Proctor. It's yes is 2-1. How many times will they show Jim Nance? 2.5.
Oh, they'll show him for sure. They have to. It's part
3
of the story
times,
now.
though? I know, 3 times? Okay.
Let's go back. How many times? It felt like they showed him 3 times last week. Maybe that's in my imagination, but
yes.
Do you like that that's a focus here?
Well, that's a storyline. He's a fan.
He went to school
he was doing
there.
games. I don't. Yeah.
He loves the program.
Coach K props 4.5. How many times will they show him?
Oh, they might show Nance more.
Maybe. Buzzer beater 20-1.
Ooh.
Any game to go overtime 6-1.
We had a buzzer beater in the Final Four 2 years ago. San Diego State over Florida Atlantic.
Yeah.
Now, that was a doozy of a tournament. That was the exact opposite of what we have this year.
Right. Most points scored by one team, 89.5. Fewest points, 65.5.
Oh, boy.
Well, that's the Houston team total.
I think I'd go under on both of them.
Largest comeback, 9.5 points.
Oh. Does it say they have to win the game?
Yeah. Longest unanswered run, 11.5.
Can we get largest margin of victory?
Okay.
Will we have a
the
blowout?
history, yeah.
I say yes. Might have 2 blowouts. I hope not.
Yeah.
But you never know how this is going to go. I'll remind people again, in 2008, the only other time that we had all 4 number 1 seeds make the Final Four, 2 really bad games. Kansas won by 18. Memphis won by, 15 over UCLA. Never a game. The Kansas game, they were up 42-18 against North Carolina. Carolina cut it close. They made a run, but they put everything they had into that run and then fell apart again. So I'm absolutely hoping for a great 5 hours of basketball.
Well, are we going to get? Is it going to be Duke, Florida, on Monday night? One that would end that stretch of 14 straight favorites that have won a game since Ole Miss beat Iowa State, and would it be Auburn, Houston? Once in 30 years, on Saturday, both dogs have won. Once in 30 years. I can't believe it. Falika had that with a tweet.
Did he say what year?
Yeah, I'll get it in a second. That's shocking.
Oh, man, I can remember there was a Final Four. Geez, it's coming up on 9 years ago now. In fact, it was 2016, so it was. It was such, on paper, a good Final Four. The year that Chris Jenkins for Villanova beat North Carolina at the buzzer with that great play, and Jay Wright's reaction on the sideline didn't even move a muscle.
Yeah, didn't flinch.
I was so excited because Buddy Hield was on such a heater that year, and he was Steph Curry. It was bombs away from 25 feet, nothing you could do, and we were getting UConn, Oklahoma as the early game, I believe, and I was so amped for that game, and Villanova beat him by 40 points. Destroyed them from the jump. And that kind of sets the table for what kind of day you can have, where just all the air completely sucked out from having a fun day watching this stuff.
The year was 2002. It's the only time in the national semis that both dogs won.
Indiana beat Oklahoma. Maryland beat, because I think Maryland beat Indiana for the national title that year. Indiana was maybe a 5 seed. They beat Jay Williams and Duke that year.
Yes, I think
so?
You're right. I think you're right. Padres won 5-2.
Their bullpen gave up a run.
Okay.
Yep. Twins are leading right now 6-0, but they are in 2 runners are on now. This game was delayed for a long time at the beginning because of rain. But they've been in control of this game. The Marlins now on top of the Mets 4-1. Mets took a lot of money again today. Not going well for New York. Can't hit.
What is going on? I know. Can't hit.
Yep. Red Sox with a 1-0 lead here early against the Orioles.
It's not Devers, though. He popped up, so he's 0 for 20.
0 for 20.
What's the record?
Oh, you mean to begin a year?
To begin the year, yeah.
Well, he's got to be pushing that right now. Isn't it for an everyday starter? That's what I don't want, a fringe guy who comes in a pinch hit and plays every 4th day. I want an everyday guy. I would think that this is going to be pushing the record.
To start the season, I remember the Chris Davis thing, which was nuts. But it's one thing to be 0 for 20, but 15 strikeouts.
Yeah, that adds to it.
Oh, man. Brutal.
I hope we come on the air tomorrow and we're talking about another. I haven't bet it, but I hope we're talking about another Dodgers win. I want this to play out for a long time.
Right, and then they go to Philadelphia.
Yep, and then I bet it. So I would like to come back on the air tomorrow and say, hey, Diamondbacks Yankees team total over again for the Yankees, and that score was 11-9, and the torpedoes were firing again.
Yep. What a bizarre day in basketball. There are 11 basketball games today. Every one of them but one is a 9-point favorite.
That's wow.
At least has a 9-point spread.
All right, following us, VSiN Primetime, 4 good hours, Von Tobel and Tim Murray. Cashing out after that, Joe Serralo. Wake up tomorrow morning, 7 a.m. Eastern. Dave Ross, Jensen Lewis. Good luck tonight.